Let us make welcome Oladeinde Olayiwola as he takes us on effective communication for profitability.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Saz and Maz. Good morning, Nigerians. You're not answering me. Good morning, Nigerians. All right. Good morning across the globe. Thank you very much for being here this morning. I want to especially appreciate the host of this conference and everyone who has worked together to ensure that something like this is holding. In times like this, it is essential that we continue to inform ourselves, we continue and we continue to learn. Anyone who desires to rebound must make learning a top priority, because only those that learn are able to rebound. And I must say that if there is one profession that continues to excite me, it's the photography profession. I remember growing up, I lived in a community where we had this particular photographer. We called her Barista. I don't know what, but we used to call her Barista. She was like the only photographer in the area. When it's festive periods, you see children in our very fine festive clothes and those eyeglasses that have plastic handles and those ones that have double layers, in case you remember. And we troop down there and she takes us pictures and it looks like we're on heaven, on earth. And it made us think that that was all photography was about. And then we had the wait and get guys. You know those guys, at every party you see them. They don't need your invite, they only need access. And they are there taking millions of pictures. So I used to think photography was all about just having a studio and going around parties on Saturdays. But then the 21st century, and in fact, in the most recent times, we've had photographies in diverse dimensions. And I must celebrate every professional here. This is a noble profession. And I want to say thank you for choosing this path. Can you please celebrate yourselves this morning? However, there is another category of people I like to celebrate, and these are the photographers who have remained in this profession post-COVID. A lot of things happened because of COVID. Many people lost their passion. It became a race for survival. When COVID struck, I was still in the educational sector. I was working in a school, and I remember a lot of things happened to schools. There was this particular school that the landlord of the school, the owner of the facility, because the school could no longer afford to pay rent, the man repainted the school, gave the school out for residential purpose. It was the people in the neighborhood that had to call the proprietor of the school that your school is no longer a school. So when the man came around, he was expecting to see his school, but he saw an apartment. Terrible stuff happened. Schools became poultry. A lot of things happened. Many people forgot about passion, some vision for their bellies. We won't blame them. It is only the man that is alive that can pursue a dream. But then there are those who stuck, regardless of the trials and challenges, they stuck with the profession. And I'm sure everyone here is part of that sect. Once again, can you celebrate yourself? All right, without much ado, I'd like to move on. I'll be speaking briefly. Can I have my slides on, please? I'll be speaking briefly on effective communication for profitability. Effective communication for profitability. If there is anything professionals need to do excellently for them to achieve profit in whatever they do, it is the ability to communicate effectively. Amongst other things, your ability to communicate well with both prospects and even existing clients defines a lot of things. It is one thing to be good at what you do. It is another thing to be able to get those who can pay you to understand that you are good and that you are the one they need. No matter your level of skill, if you can't get those that can pay you to know that they need you, you will be skillful yet broke. Where communication skills are missing, passion looks like nothing. Where communication skills are missing, people will take your money and give it to people who are not as good as you. There are people who don't know jack, who can do half of what you can do. But just give them 5 minutes, they are in your mind. Another 5 minutes, they are in your pocket. You give them everything you have, and they give you little. And you keep asking, where are the guys that are actually good? Some of them are there, unable to communicate. So this morning, I'd like us to give full attention to this session. And I trust that after this session, we will become better communicators. Eric Hoffer, so many years ago, said something that remains a profound statement, even at this day. He said, in the times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. When you feel you have learned enough, you will be alive you'll be living, you'll be in existence. It's just that the word that would have accommodated you perfectly would have left you. So for you to have relevance in the new world, it is essential that you remain a learner, regardless of your profession. Sometimes I have challenges with creatives, and this is the challenge I have. Many of them believe that just because they have that ability, they have a primary skill, then every other skill is not essential. So they just want to be good at what they do. They ignore other complementary skills. And that skill they are missing may just be their lifeline. So in times like this, when everything is changing, when the pandemic has turned things around, when the landscape of the photography industry has taken a new shape, only the individuals who have an open heart and are willing to continue to learn all it takes, not just what they like to learn. The guys that are willing to learn all it takes to thrive are the only ones that will thrive. They are the learners, and they are the only ones that will thrive. So your best option at this point in time is to continue to be a learner. When change happens, we are left with 4 options. First, to act like nothing has changed, and we continue with our business as usual. You act as if nothing has happened, so you remain on the same lane you've been. That is the first option. But then we have another option, which is to continue to watch change disrupt our world without plugging into the flow. If you don't take that option, you have another option, which is to resist change and try to fight it. And then the last option is to cooperate with change and leverage it positively. Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that out of these 4 options, you only stand a chance of survival when you subscribe to the last. If you decide to act like nothing has happened, times and seasons will leave you behind. Sometimes we don't remain backward because we choose to remain backward. We remain backward because others have moved forward. So when you act like nothing has happened, you remain backward. When you watch change disrupt the world without plugging in, you are swept up off your feet. You have nothing to hold on to except glories of the past. And if you decide to resist change, you are trying to fight a battle you have already lost. Because no man can resist the inevitability of change. Change is so inevitable that you can't do anything to stop it. Even when you are asleep, even the dead experience change. But then the last option, which is to cooperate with change, is our best bet. Such that whenever anything happens to you, your question will no longer be, why is this happening to me? Your question will now be, for what reason is this happening? So when you have this approach to change, you can begin to leverage everything that happens to you. So the decision to rebound is non-negotiable. You cannot rise if you do not choose to stand again. And only those who stand again can win again. Can you tell your neighbor, only those who stand again can win again. All right, let's proceed. Let's begin to go into the crux of our discussion. So we have to become better. When you become better, you can achieve positive changes. So coming to communication, why do we have to learn how to become better communicators even as photographers? The reason is simple. Communication is the lifeline of every business. Everything you do, the most essential elements of your business are forms of communication. We just learned about branding now. Branding is a form of communication. Marketing is communication. So even the pictures you take, they are elements of communication. So everything you do as a professional, as a creative, is a form of communication. And communication is the lifeline of your business. So you must continue to learn how to become a more effective communicator to succeed and remain in business. So it's not optional. You have to make that choice. You have to make that choice. So how do we become more effective communicators? How do we become more profitable through our communication? The first point is that you must understand what communication truly means. There is a popular saying that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. I add to it, I say sometimes when the purpose of a thing is not known, it's not just abuse that is inevitable. Sometimes misuse is inevitable. Sometimes underuse is inevitable. And sometimes overuse is inevitable. Underuse, misuse, overuse, then abuse. So you have to first understand what communication means. And when we go into the root word of communication, it evolved from 2 Latin words, communis and communicare. And these 2 words stand for sharing and making things common. So the whole essence of communication is not just to tell people about what you do or get them to know what you can do, or get them to hear your voice. The primary essence of communication is to share and to make things common. So when I know something and I communicate it with you, that means that at the end of my communication, you would have known what I know. If that doesn't happen, then I have not communicated effectively. If I have confidence in myself as a photographer and I am communicating my expertise to you, but you don't catch that level of confidence I have in myself, you don't share that belief, you don't share that confidence with me, then I have not communicated well. So until what I feel becomes what my audience feels, what I think becomes what my audience thinks, and what I believe about myself becomes what my audience believes about me, then I have not effectively communicated. So it is possible for people to have listened to you, yet they are not convinced with what you've said. So it is when communication gets to that point where everything you want your other party to know is what they have known. That is when you can begin to say that you have shared and you now have something in common. Are we getting it? All right. So the key components of the communication process are connection, exchange, mutual understanding, and desired response. Every time you communicate, whether in person or through digital platforms, these are the elements you should look out for. First is what? What is the first element? Connection. You must seek connection. Without connection, there cannot be effective exchange. So you must find a way to bond with your audience. Find a common ground. You are meeting a client and you realize, for example, the client is from the same tribe as you. You have something you can connect. Speak the language. You realize they come from the same state as you. Connect on that level. Whatever connects you to your client is a good strengthener for your communication. You are going to a northern state to shoot. One of the things that can give you leverage is to look like them. Some of us see our politicians, when they want to go to the north, they dress like the northerners. When they go to the south, they dress like the southerners. They understand this principle that before you can make an exchange, there has to be a connection. So people have to feel that you are like them before they can trust you. So whatever connects you with your client should be something you should be interested in. All right? Then when you establish a connection, you can now begin to initiate an exchange. However, you must ensure that your understanding is mutual. Many times as professionals, we understand what we want to do. But sometimes the guys that will pay us don't. They like what you do, they want what you do, but they really don't understand what you are doing. That is why they price some of us ridiculously. Because to them, they just need to click your camera and produce an image. But you understand that beyond clicking your camera, there are angles, there are perspectives, there are memories, there are moments you have to capture. They don't know. So if you don't share that understanding, and they have it the same way you have it, they will not value this the way you need them to. So mutual understanding is critical. Then you must ensure there is a desired response. Because if desired response does not happen, you won't get the best results. If you are trying to get a client to sign a contract with you, that's your desired response. If you are trying to get them to get you on the project, that is your desired response. So you must clarify that before you begin. So you establish the connection, make the exchange, ensure there is mutual understanding, and then you generate your desired response. So this is what true communication is about. It's not just about talking. It's not just about writing. It's not just about doing videos. It's not just about sending your brochure or whatever package you have. It's about ensuring that you connect with your clients, you connect with your audience, you exchange what you have with them, they understand it, and they produce the response you want. Once this cycle is complete, you're making it. Are we getting it? How many of us are excited? Give your neighbor a high five if you're excited. Amazing. Thank you. All right, let's move on. So the second strategy for you to profit from your communication is to redefine profit. Redefine profit. Many times when we hear the word profit, we think money. Money is a form of profit, but money is not the only form of profit. So when you are communicating for profitability, understand that you are not just looking for money alone. Profit, according to my definition, is any advantage, benefit, or positive returns a brand earns from connecting with or serving its clients. This is an expanded definition of profit, and it will help you a lot, such that when you are relating with your client, you are not just looking for money. There are things that can bring money. Sometimes money doesn't come to you directly as money. It comes in other versions. If you are not able to dictate money when it is not looking like money, you will miss money. I'll say that again. If you are not able to dictate and recognize money when it is not looking like money, you will miss a lot of money. So sometimes profit stares at us. I should say it again. If you are not able to dictate and recognize money when it is not looking like money, you will miss a lot of money. So sometimes money does not look like it, but your ability to have an expanded definition of profit helps you to pick. Sometimes you will begin to follow things. Your colleagues will look at you that, what are you doing? There's no money in this thing. But because you have understood that money sometimes doesn't look like it, you follow through. And at the end, you get money. So what are some of the things that can also be profits to you as a professional? First, increased brand awareness. Sometimes a project may not necessarily bring you money, but it's bringing you increased brand awareness. You volunteer for an event, it exposes your brand. Yes, it might not have been money, but it's a profit. Increased credibility. When people trust you more, that's profit. Because with trust, anything can follow. When people trust you, yes, when they give you more recommendations, that translates into money. Media mentions, that can translate into money. Social media trend, when you begin to trend now, you take a picture that trends, eventually, it could bring money to you. Access to strategic influencers, this is profit. So sometimes when you do your work, don't always look out for money, even though money is what you are looking for. Don't always be carried away. Don't be blinded. Look out for some of all these other forms of profit, because these things are money in disguise if you know how to leverage them. Are we together? Can we move on? All right. So the third strategy for you to become a profitable communicator is that you must master the different forms of communication. A lot of photographers enjoy life behind the camera. They just want to be in the background, making beautiful memories. And there is nothing wrong with that. But if you will profit well from communication, you must master different forms of communication, because opportunities to communicate will come to you in different forms. So, interpersonal communication, one-on-one communication, you must learn how to be so good at it that when somebody invites you over to their office and it's you and across the tables, you are scared. You are not intimidated. You are certain, you are solid, you are sure of what you are saying. You can look them you can look into their eyes and tell them your services will cost 5 million without looking like you've caught something that some of us, you tell somebody I'm charging you 5 million and they look at you sternly, you begin to smile. Okay, it's not cost now. With your own mouth, you begin to nullify what you said. Okay, you know how it's been 5 million, no cost now. And the man looks at you and begins to see that you are not sure. So there are subtle things that really communicate your confidence. So when you're able, sometimes when people say, come over to my office, they say, I don't want to talk to you on phone alone. Come over to my office. They want to test you on this level of interpersonal communication. So they want to look into your eyes and ask you deep questions. And the moment you begin to look away, they know something is fishy. Even if nothing is fishy. They look at your eyes, you are staring away. You want to call the price? Can you do it? Yes, sir. Are you sure you can? Okay, I can do it so. And they want you to look at them in the eyes, because that communicates confidence. But you don't know. The way you even sit on the chair. A very big chair, you are just sitting at the tip. As if the remaining space is reserved for VIP. You just, sir, you can't even rest on it. You can't even cross your leg. And those things look like they don't matter. You just want to get the gig and start clicking the shot. But it doesn't work that way sometimes. So these things may not really mean much, but they do. The ability to rise and have a firm handshake with whosoever has engaged you and look into their eyes firmly, not disrespectfully, but firmly. Okay, so public speaking is another form of communication you should master. Let me tell you something. If there is one thing that can give you sweet access to influence, it's public speaking. If you speak at a conference that has 5,000 people seated, there are some ads you will run that won't even touch 5,000 people. In fact, people can be reading your ad, engaging with it, being distracted. But with 5,000 people packed in a hall, you have 5,000 minds surrendered to you, screaming, influence me, influence me, influence me. So there is power. I am speaking here and everybody's looking at me. There is power in public speaking. So don't ignore it. Learn it. You don't have to be extremely spectacular, but when they give you the mic to speak in public, so we'll switch off the mic. So we'll put the mic here. What do I say? Bye. And by the time you make all those impressions, you are selling yourself short. So learn how to speak in public. Learn how to write. You don't need too much grammar. Learn how to stop all these 2 for TO and all these KK for OK. Write, put comma where there's supposed to be comma. Put your full stop where there's... If you chat with me, you will realize that I don't do short form. Even when I'm short of words, I don't use short form. Because that is how we build mastery. Some of us are so used to writing badly that even when you're writing your proposal, your corporate proposals, you write because as BCOS. So write well, simple English. There was one time I was engaging with a client and I was told that if I was told, somebody that was superior in the industry was telling me that when you want to mention, when you are writing and you're engaging with a client on WhatsApp or whichever platform, as long as you're writing, you don't write financial figures as 50K. You put the Naira symbol, 50, comma, and 3 zeros. Because 50K irritates some people. 50K sounds somehow. You demean the money. Some people just like to see the plenty zeros. It makes them feel like they are paying you good stuff. Not 100K. It looks like it's trash. Even if it's trash to you, you put these plenty zeros. If time affords you, write it in English. So learn written communication. When you're on Facebook, write well. Use your status. Simple things. Write well. Learn how to write proposals. Learn how to write good letters. It will help. Then virtual communication. Zoom and every of these platforms. Not that Zoom will finish my data and you Zoom. No, if you don't know how to use it, gather your friends, 2 or 3 of you, buy data. You can be in the same room, organize a Zoom meeting and learn. Because opportunities can come at any time for you. Then digital communication, learn how to use social media. LinkedIn, all right? Facebook. Facebook is not just for watching funny videos. Engage them. I don't have time. Let me rush. So master the different forms of communication. Now, pay attention to what matters. This is very critical. According to researches, we have been told that if communication, the whole process of communication, were to be 100%, then 7% of your communication is done with the words that you use. Everything you say forms 7% of your communication. Then 38% of your communication is the tone of your voice. And 55% is your body language. So let me practicalize this. So somebody steps on you and wants to apologize. So the person says, I'm sorry. Now, did the person say I'm sorry? But the person said I'm sorry. Did they mention the word I'm sorry? But why don't you believe it? Because the body language and the tone didn't communicate it. So you paid more attention to the body language and the tone. How about somebody saying, I love you. I love you. You know, you'll be confused. Even though you want the love, but you don't want the kind of love that comes with that face. Say, I love you. And excuse me, are you sure you love me? And then somebody says, why do I hate you like this? Now, would you believe they hate you? So, I so much hate you. Now, you won't believe the words if they meant it because their tone and their body language didn't reflect it. So sometimes, even when our words are correct, our tone and our body language fails us. Sir, I can do the job better. I can do the job better. And they can hear you, but other elements betrays you. I can do the job better. And you are shivering your hands. See, there are some little things. Sometimes when people shake you, they want to know whether you're afraid. Your hands are just shaking, or your palms are sweaty, or you are standing and you are shaky, or you are just standing carelessly. You are positioning your body in a way that does not really support your message. If you don't pay attention to the things that matter, you will keep saying the right words, forgetting that it's just 7%. It matters, but certain things matter more. So tonality is key. Let me give us some more relevant examples. If you're a young photographer here, please, when you're relating with adults, watch your tone. Forget all this digital transition. Adults are still adults. And they want their respect full-sized. There's a way you sound, and an elderly moroso, you know, like he doesn't know how to speak. There are ways, there are tones that comes out as pride. You have pride. So when you are relating with elderly people, regardless of how skilled you are, elderly people would rather pick somebody with excellent character and average skill than the guy that has all the skill but is mannerless. Don't let anybody deceive us. Manners are not old school. Mannerless people may have become more old school, but manners are not old school. Very important. So watch your tone, watch your body language, ensure they support your message. Number 5, if you want your communication to be profitable, know your target audience. Your audience are not just people that like or want your services, but those who want it and are able and willing to pay for it. Please define your audience as quick as possible. I am aware that many times in our journeys as creatives, we begin from that point where we don't really have the luxury to serve the clients that we actually want because we need to keep body and soul together. However, regardless of your current state, please have a clear vision of your client, your ideal audience. It's very important. Whether or not you are getting them now, don't lose that sight because it is what is clear to you that comes to you. Know your audience. It will save you stress. It will save you too much talk. Sometimes it is what will even protect your passion. Because if you keep targeting the right audience and you are not getting the results you desire, you might begin to assume that you are the one who is not good enough. You might begin to doubt your genius. So you have to be sure that these people need me, they can afford me, and they are willing to. Those are the people you channel most of your energies towards while communicating. So know what your audience need and speak the language they understand. If you are living in Nigeria and you know you have audiences in different tribes, please learn some of the languages. For example, you get into a meeting with somebody and in their conversations, you realize that they are introducing local dialect. Maybe the person is speaking Yoruba. If you can speak Yoruba, try once in a while to chip it in. Learn the basics. If you are relating with a Muslim, when you see them, especially the ones that are very, very Islamic, Assalamu alaikum. That thing works wonders. Oh, okay. Just try it. That thing works wonders. Do you know where it even becomes more interesting? When they realize that you are not a master, but you are making an attempt to be like them, it makes them even want you more. When an Hausa man, for example, puts food in a tray for them to eat, and you sit with them to dip your hand in the same food with them, they have loved you. They have loved you. So now that I get there, they are dipping their hands and you're asking for cutlery. Can I get fork and knife? I really don't do stuff like this. Okay. So little things. Little things. So there are times where you have to just speak the language of those. If you are engaging foreign clients, please learn. You have clients in Spain. Even if it's good morning, good afternoon, thank you, what do you want in Spanish? Learn. Say it and they laugh at you. The ability to even laugh, ha, 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 man, what did he just say? You're already building rapport. Because it takes a level of likeness for somebody to laugh with you. Okay, let me not spend too much time there. All right, let's move on. So the 6, use content to build connection and shape perception. Perception is about what people think you are. And in business, who people think you are is more important than who you think you are. So you have to use perception well. And how do you do that? Using content on your various digital platforms. It could be written, it could be visual, it could be interactive content. Sometimes you ask your audience questions. You throw questions at them. You engage them, hear from them, and video content. Your content could be educational, it could be inspirational, it could be informational, it could be entertaining, and it can be aspirational. Sometimes share your journey as a photographer. Tell your audience what you want to be in the next 50 years. Who are your role model photographers? Tell them the project you are on. Tell them what you want to do in 2023. Tell them your 5-year plan as a business owner. Tell them your 10-year plan as a brand. Take them through the journey with you. That's how you build loyalty. Very critical. Number 7, demonstrate mastery and competence. Be extremely good at what you do. Be extremely good at what you do. I want us to look at that last sentence. Because your performance will become the content of your customers' conversation with other people. People discuss us. Whether you like it or not, discussions are going behind you. And what will form the contents of those discussions are your previous performances. A satisfied client, according to studies, will tell 5 more people about how good you are. An unsatisfied client will summon the courage, patience, wisdom, and tenacity to tell more than 20 people that this guy is a bad guy. This guy spoiled my picture. This guy made my neck longer. This guy damaged the project. You don't need promo. They are good promoters. So ensure you are extremely good. And in today's world, good is not good enough. The new good is excellence. If you want to be good in today's world, be excellent. You start from excellence is the beginning point. It's no longer the peak. It's the foundation. In today's world, you can't just afford to be good because there are many good people that are in the crowd. So stand out. Number 8, be open to feedback. I wrote something here. Facts are our friends. Whether exciting or difficult to bear, the right feedback helps us to improve our performance and reach our goal. Hear your clients. Don't always be quick to justify your performance. They tell you, oh, you didn't do this well, and you're telling them 31 reasons why they should believe you did it well. Sometimes they could be wrong, but just see, there is something that makes customers happy when they just feel that they were able to point out something you didn't do well and you accepted. So open yourself to feedback. Sometimes those feedbacks will not be pleasant. Embrace them. You don't necessarily need to respond immediately. If it's something too harsh for you to bear, give it some time. If it's a message on your WhatsApp that it has caused you to start boiling, rather than responding immediately, allow it to cool. All right? Get the lesson. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you may be blinded to the lesson. So allow it to cool, then you can extract the lesson. And also learn to ask for feedbacks. Don't be too carried away when they say, people, I don't believe in perfect jobs. How did I do perfect? I don't believe you. There has to be something. There has to be something. Tell me that one thing I could have done better. Number 9, develop and demonstrate good character. Ralph Waldo Emerson said something years ago. He said, who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you are saying. So sometimes when you tell people we are good enough, our character speaks louder. How you behave, how you conduct yourself, how you respect people, how you carry yourself. These things speak even louder than the things that we say. And here is something I like us to write or keep or memorize or just make sure it doesn't leave your mind. Make sure it doesn't leave your mind. As long as you're in this profession, make sure it doesn't leave your mind. First, can we read it together? Want to go? Competence can make people like what you do. Character is what makes them like. See, there's a difference. There's a difference. People can like what you do and not like you. But here's the catch. When people are presented with 2 options to choose between somebody that can do something well and somebody that they like that can do something well, they will always go for the second. People will readily choose people that are competent and they like ahead of people that are competent but they don't like. So, let me add one thing. When people like you, they can make excuses for you. They can make excuses for you. So liking you because of what you can do is different from liking you. When you like a musician, every song they sing is sweet. There are those you like because you like their song. There are those you like. Anything, if they knock, pam, 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 pam. See, this is amazing. I've never heard pam, pam, pam like this in my life. So secondly, can we go? Want to go? Competence can earn you recommendation. Character earns you accommodation. Let me tell you the difference. Recommendation is I tell somebody you are good. You go to the person, you work for the person, and they are done with you. Recommendation can end that way. But you know accommodation, after you work for them, they take you as theirs. And they can even recommend you. It's character. Nobody would, because of admittance of competence, sacrifice their reputation for you when they are not sure of your character. So before they recommend you, they want to be sure that you won't mess up their name. Because there are people that have been recommended only to go and destroy the reputation of the person who recommended them. Character, very essential. Third, want to go? Competence can give you a reputation. Character makes that reputation stand the test of time. Number 4, competence can open the door for you. Character is what keeps you in the room. Very critical. And lastly, competence can win the mind. Character It is the person whose mind and heart you have won that gives you their money. Very important. Very important. This young man is close to me. This is your heart. I have to remove it. Okay. And lastly, remain a learner. Have a growth mindset. Everything you know now in the next year would have lost its value. Everything. If it has not lost its value totally, its value would have reduced. So have a growth mindset. Nobody is an expert of the future. We are all experts of the past because we can only master what exists. No man can master what has not existed. That is why we must keep learning. We must keep learning because what has not existed is bigger than you. What you have not experienced is stronger than you. Until you experience it, you can't master it. As long as the future is still ahead, we must remain people with an open mind. And also learn from anyone and everyone who can teach you something. Your colleagues, competitors, and superiors. Watch how they do things. Watch how they get their results. Some business people will say, I don't have any competition. I am my own competition. It sounds motivational until they kick you out of business. Anybody that can do what you can do and can serve the same client you can serve is your competitor, even your best friend. So watch what they do. Have the humility to be flexible. Sometimes some of us see what works, but we don't just want to admit. We don't want that feeling of, I learned it from this person. We want to originate what works for ourselves. You will stay there for too long. There's no point in inventing the wheels. Leverage on what is already existing. You will sweat less. And also be deliberate and intentional. Every event you attend, every book you read, every article you read, be intentional. Let's not fill our mind with junks. You're a photographer and you are busy reading stories about those who didn't make it. The broke guys who left the profession for other lucrative jobs. And they tell you, it's still the old camera. I don't jackpot. Now, that might sound comforting or that might sound like you being realistic. But the truth is, you should only be deliberate and intentional about anything that will move you forward. And lastly, pay the price. I am surprised and amazed that this conference is free. It's not free because it didn't cost the host anything. It's free because maybe we didn't pay. But the expense, the cost is massive. If they had put a price tag on it, I'm sure we may not be as much as this. Because many people love freebies. Nobody gives you extreme value in free programs. People know more than what they share at free programs. Because they know that many people that, haven't you seen people that they know every program? You see them in every program. Were you at the 5th edition? Yes. 6th? Yes. 7th? Yes. Even 8th, I'll be there. Now, you check their results in the last 4 years, and it doesn't look like they believe in their houses. Because it's free. Let's not have that mindset. Pay. Sometimes you don't only pay for knowledge, you pay for access. You just pay to get close to people. You pay sometimes to just feel the aura that some of your legends, some of your superiors, there's an aura that comes with being a legend in the game. You sit with them, you are not just looking at how fine their shoes are. You are looking at how they cross their hands, how they cross their legs, how they smile, how they rise, how they sit, how they move. Those things count. So sometimes you pay for those things, not just knowledge. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope with these few points of mine, I have been able to help you see how you can, okay, you have a question, become better communicators. Can I take, this man on heart is my Oga. Can I take questions, sir? Okay, I think I can. He has permitted me, so I'm safe.
Please, I want to ask you this simple question.
Yes, sir.
Somebody that is not in the educational sector, maybe like you.
Okay, sir.
Your level of communication will differ from somebody who is just in the commercial aspect of it.
Okay, sir.
So, what are the simple stage of having a communication skill if you are not in the academic level, maybe system?
Yes, sir.
You are just like a layman.
Okay.
And what are the simple stages to learn a communication skill?
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Are you in the academic sector, sir? Did you just communicate with me?
Sure.
Did I get your question?
Yes.
You're already a good communicator. There's no mystery. It's all about making what you want to say clear to the other person. Even sometimes when you stutter and you say it slowly and they get it, you have done well. So you don't need to be a smooth talker. I have been doing this for over a decade. So if I do it well, it's not just because I was born with it. So you really will know, this is my work. This is what I do. Okay? So you may not compare yourself with me, but you don't need to be like some of us to do well. Some of our fathers were not very smooth talkers, but you got their message. Some of our mothers don't have the biggest words, but a single look is enough for them to tell you 1 million things. So it's just about know what you want to say, know the best way to say it, and say it in a way that your audience can get. Once you are able to do that, sir, you are communicating well. However, you can also continue to grow yourself. Attend trainings, attend seminars that can grow you. Or thirdly, if you realize that you have weaknesses in key areas of communication, engage a professional. Some of the people you follow online that write massive articles, they don't write them. There are people called ghostwriters. I do that a lot. I work with busy professionals who don't have time to communicate their thought in words. And they just tell you, 4 lines, and you turn it into 4 pages for them. You read it, you are blessed, but they only dropped 4 lines. So you can get professionals who can help you. They can do the talking for you. They can do the writing for you. They can check whatever you want to say before you say them. Before you roll out your proposal, you can get an editor to check it for you to know whether you're on point, or better still, outsource it to any organization or professional that can help you do it. That would help you get more results. So thank you very much. It was a great time. Enjoy the rest of the program.